bookcase that I started earlier, well, sometime last year, midsummer. It's actually completely assembled. The only thing is I used plywood for the shelves. Everything except the top is plywood. The top is solid pine. And that took the finish really well. I really like how that looks, but the plywood that I used was not the best quality. Structurally, it's just fine, but plywood generally comes sanded and graded differently. And as you can see, it just didn't take the finish, the stain that I used very well. Not real happy with it. It's real splotchy. So I'm going to go over it with this kitchen sponge and try to fill in all the tiny little voids where the finish didn't take. This is going to be a very tedious process. Probably my least favorite part of the entire build. But I said I'd have this bookcase done around Thanksgiving, and we're in January now. And the person who ordered it is probably getting antsy to have it. So I'm going to buckle down and try to finish this up today. Here it is. Get the idea. So there's the bookshelf mostly finished. I still need to put the coats of polyurethane on it, and I'll add a clip at that. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the construction of this bookcase. I did use slots cut, so see if you can follow along. This entire piece is one piece with a slot cut here and a slot cut here, and then the shelves are also one continuous piece with slots cut here and here, so it all fits together in a grid. And it's super solid and it's super heavy. So if you can see, I have covered the shelf 2 times over with a thicker oil-based stain, and now I have went over the bottom 2 shelves with Minwax stain, and that stain is actually quite a bit cheaper than the other brand that I won't mention. And you can see, at least for this application, how a thinner stain that is much more not viscous, it's the opposite of viscous, that actually seeps into the pores much better. Now, you will use more stain doing this, but it actually, for a rougher sanded piece of wood, it actually seems to cover much better. So I'm going to go ahead and do this top row of shelves now, and hopefully you can see how much better it covers. Here we go. I suggest wearing gloves, unless you want to stain your fingers, then don't. If you don't wear gloves, Dawn dish soap kind of helps, or rubbing alcohol as well. I'm going to go ahead and start staining. These are actually staining pads that my wife picked up for me at Lowe's. I was a little bit skeptical that they would do anything different than rags, but I have so far been pleased because it kind of acts like a sponge, and it really gets into all the nooks and crannies and crevices on your workpiece. Again, the plywood I used for this is not the best quality sanded stuff, so there's a lot of, and this is after sanding it with 80, 120, and then 220. It's still just, you can tell it's still just rough. And I didn't have my planer when I constructed this bookshelf. If I did, I would have ran all these pieces through the planer to help smooth them out, or at least get rid of the potholes, I guess you could say, in the piece. So already you can probably see how much better that's covering, just because it's so much thinner and it seeps into the pores better, which is what I need for this bookshelf. So I hope you guys are all having a good Friday. It's Friday here. I'm not sure when I will upload the video, but happy weekend. Got a basketball game to coach tomorrow. My nephew, he's 7, but they're all really good kids and they're trying their hardest. I'm excited for it. We've been working a lot on rebounding and defense. We realized our first game that we needed to focus on defense. A lot of the other teams have some pretty big kids. We definitely have the shortest team in the league. So we are focusing on the fundamentals. Defense, ball handling, passing. And I have a good feeling about tomorrow's game. This stain looks so much nicer than the other more expensive stuff. Again, I'm sure I'm going to end up using more of this stain to get the result that I want, but I am getting the result I want, and I wasn't with the other stain after 2 coats even. So I'm going to deliver this bookshelf tomorrow, and I'm still staining. I got to put the top coat on still. So I'm behind the gun like always, but it is a pretty build, and I like the way it looks, and I'm finally liking the way that the finish is going on. So all good things. Okay, so I'm about ready to start polyurethaning this bookcase. However, it has been sitting in my shop for a little while, so I need to get all the dust and particulate off of it, at least as much as I can. And I would normally use the shop vac for this, but my sweeper actually has a brush and my shop vac doesn't, so I'm going to use the sweeper to get all of it off. Here we go. Here we go. I keep saying here we go, and I'm still new at making videos, so if you don't like it, you can shut up. I guess this is how this goes on. I'm not sure, it doesn't look quite right. I'm gonna try it. I don't know. Like I said, that Minwax stuff covered a lot better. I have already gone over it with 1 coat of spray poly. I'm going to do another coat on the top, and we're going to call it completed. So I'm going to go ahead and spray it now. Nice thin coats.
Send shot to the wind, and I'm busy feeling good. I give us some more clothes, and in my head I hear the echoes. residence. It's been 2 years since the day comes to an end. The day comes to an end. Say goodbye to all my friends. Then I shut off the lights and I say it'll be alright. The night closes in. Think of where I've been. The day comes to an end. The day comes to an end.
So here it is, all completed. As you can see, we've got a ton of space on here. I just grabbed a couple books that I could find lying around the house. We've got more in boxes, but as you can see, we've got like 10 books here, and it's not even half a shelf. We've got 9 whole shelves on here. You can fit games or notepads or really, anything you can put on a shelf. Here's a giant dog for scale. Right, Judy? You're a good girl. Next week will be 2 sliding barn door builds for my mother-in-law that she wants to cover some closet doors in her house. So I hope you enjoyed it, and please subscribe. Thanks. Have a good night.
The day comes to an end. The day comes to an end. Say goodbye to all my friends. Then I shut off the lights and say it'll be alright. The night closes in.